day. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer. And we're going to...
Personal credit union is free. No fee home. D-line.
So keep the bacon wrap date cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon wrap dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between. Capture your dreams your way with a no-fee members-owned credit union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell her, and we would definitely recommend Sutter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 to nutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Looking for a financial partner really makes a difference? Modern One is a known fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activity, and volunteer opportunities. Community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515. Conversation.
Modern Woodman America, touching lives, securing futures.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. It's time for The Finish Line with Mike Melby on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Start your engine!
Happy Sunday evening. Welcome into The Finish Line. I am your host, Mike Melby. To my right, Rebecca Pearson. Behind the board, Rico Alvarez Cleary, the legend himself. Thank you for coming in, Rico, and covering. And actually in studio tonight, he's probably going to be here for the whole hour, and we're going to chat with him about a ton of stuff. Local sprint car crew chief, brand new promoter in the area, and basically takes care of all the sprint car needs of just about anybody on the planet that does business with Speedway Motors. Mr. Tyler Perry is going to join us Finish Line tonight. Big week in racing. Wednesday night, tons of controversy at Tri-City in Granite City, Illinois. Kyle Larson overrides the officials from the cockpit. That didn't go over too well. It is what it is. Then great racing all weekend. You had last lap passes. You had a World of Outlaw, or I think it was World of Outlaw race that late models ended 0.05 seconds was the difference between first and second. Just a crazy week. And latest that we have on NASCAR right now, William Byron leading after 173 of the scheduled 240 laps. And they've updated that now. Nope, still at 173. So William Byron leading Denny Hamlin. But all kinds of race stuff going on. Rebecca, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Because I want to ask you, how was your first experience with the SCCA out at Air Park last weekend?
Yeah, it was great. My first trick was to find it, right? Because I've been out there trying to find where is that place. So now that I know you come in from the northwest, it was easy to find. Huge spot. Fascinating for me because as I told you, I'm used to running in a parking lot and dodging poles and stuff. So that was a lot of fun. I couldn't get there till Sunday, so I missed some of the early stuff. But yeah, it looked great. Great turnout. I think the field was 300 or something to that effect. Yep, significant. And then in Labor Day, they're doing another event. They come here. But I think the most noticeable thing for me, because I'm used to doing kind of local SCCA stuff, is just people are from all over the country. Literally every state comes out here. So this is a great location for them. I noticed, new to me and even to my friends last night, I told you my racing buddies are in last night, but SCCA Women series is new. Now, have the women that are hardcore, probably like me, would just race in the regular series, not the women's series, but, good for discussion. But I thought that was really cool just to be evolving to that. And then, of course, every car on the planet, right, was really cool.
So did you take a lap?
I did not take a lap because you have to actually, qualify, be part of SCCA. I still don't have my helmet, Mike. I guess I got to go Speedway, get my helmet.
I was going to say, Tyler could probably hook you up.
I think Tyler could hook me up.
I could do that.
Yeah, we need to do that. So anyway, all around great experience. SCCA and trials are not an excellent spectating event, because it's kind of an individual event. But as usual in any racing community, the camaraderie, the fun in the pits, hanging out, looking at cars. If you like cars, you got to go because you got every car, every mod, every classification, street cars, super mods, you got prototypes, you got all kinds of stuff going on. So if you like cars, to me, it's a great thing. And you can walk anywhere in the pits. They don't limit you.
I would think the prototypes would be the most fun.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know if it's going to go sideways, and that's going to be on purpose.
Yeah. It's random. Literally you cover every type of car there. So
fantastic.
That was cool.
It is the finish line here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. If you want to call in and chime in, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685, or the Sutter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. We want to get the racing community involved in the show. We're going to talk about it all the time. We're going to bring in great guests as we've been doing here the last few weeks. We've had Ty Jensen on. We've had Stewie Snyder on. Tyler, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Totally different perspective from what I think a lot of people have knowledge about with racing in general, specifically sprint car racing with your background. But before we get into Victory Lane and then some breaking news, tell me just a little bit about your background and all the hats that you wear, because, man, you do a lot of stuff.
I grew up in a family. My dad worked on Kent Tucker's dirt late model.
Okay.
Got spoiled. They won 2-3 nights a week all over the state my whole childhood. Somehow I turned out liking sprint cars more than late models. I think it's because it's a lot simpler. If I crawl under a late model, I get lost. So, no, we went to sprint car races all over when I was a kid. All I wanted to do was drive sprint cars. And then I realized as I got older, smarter, and could put numbers on paper, it's too expensive. So I just thought, well, I'm going to get really good at working on it because there's an avenue for that too. Building cars, setting up cars. And now I went on the road for a couple years, on the Outlaw Tour with Tony Bruce Jr. for a year, and then raced with Billy Alley for a really long time. And then the racing for a living dream kind of just went away. I'm like, man, yet at the end of the year, you don't have money. Like, you have experiences that you'll never regret, and you got to go every place you want to go, but you go do your taxes and you're like, oh, I got to pay in. Okay. So no, that kind of went away. And I decided I better get a real job and try to race on the weekends. And now I've been lucky enough the last 6 years that my 8 to 5 at Speedway, now I'm the account manager for basically all the wholesale open wheel guys. So any sprint car midget team that does wholesale business with speedways through me. So that gets to kind of fuel and catch up my weekends. So when I race on weekends with Trevor, I kind of have a really good idea of what's going on everywhere. It kind of keeps me ahead, keeps us ahead.
And I know one other thing that you have started to look into and jump into the deep end of the pool without water wings is promoting a race. It is going to be the Stuart Alley Memorial. It's going to take place September 10th at Eagle Raceway. And how has that been so far?
I've wanted to promote a race, and racing with Billy and Stuart for over 10 years, that gave me my why. So I woke up one morning here, I'm not kidding, this last winter, and I went upstairs and told my wife, and I said, we're just going to do it. I went up, set up an LLC literally that day, tax ID number, all that. And I thought, okay, there's my company. Called Roger Hayden at Eagle, asked him what it would take. And it was a short conversation. I think he thought I was just asking because they haven't had 360s or super late models at Eagle for a long time.
Yep.
So, and anybody that knows me knows better than that. So I thought, okay, I need a sanctioning body. I wanted to have all my ducks in a row when I went back to Roger. And as to why it's at Eagle, that's where Billy and Stuart started racing sprint cars. Like, to me, they had two home tracks, Eagle where they started, and then Knoxville where we kind of made a second home. So Eagle was the clear choice to me. Like, let's bring home and get 360s back out there. So I dove in head first literally that day, called the Kaziskis and asked them, hey, what would it take to get that series back on its feet that you guys raced at I-80 with last year just for one night? And I think that kind of helped them to spin off the Malvern Bank series. And so I got my sanctioning bodies, got a thumbs up for both their late models and the sprint car section, and called Roger back and told him, like, hey, I have everything together now. I'm serious. And he said, well, what are we talking about? I think he forgot or thought I wouldn't put it together. So him and I had a short discussion, and he wanted to see on paper what I need from him, what I don't need from him, why I think it'll be a success. And I spent one night till 3-4 in the morning putting that together and got it in front of him. And I think he saw it and saw, oh, this is a pretty good idea for both him and I, and has a chance to be a good success. So really it took off in a hurry. One thing I'll say, I will never put down a racetrack owner or promoter ever again. I didn't know you had to work this hard to get insurance for one day.
Yeah.
One day of 365, and I've filled out 70 forms. So that's been crazy. It's been cool to have people reach out that want to sponsor the race, that want to help in any way they can. The people that have said they're going to come race at it. It's surreal. I had another promoter tell me you'll have a lot of fun until the first race car shows up.
I believe that. Now,
then the headache starts.
Yeah,
kind of fun. Yeah.
My 10 years at Eagle, I wasn't involved in the negotiations and the contracts and the insurance and all that stuff. I knew about it, but I was involved in every other aspect of the race. Yep. I was out on the tractor. I joke, I've done 10,000 laps around Eagle Raceway, and I've never gone faster than like 9 miles an hour because I was always pulling either a sheep's foot or a disc.
Yep.
Or I guess when I was out with the pack trucks, we had an old International that we put sprint car tires on. And anyway, but I did everything. I'm part of the cleanup crew. Obviously I announced, and I'm fixing fryers with a wireless mic, calling a stock car race on a Friday night. That actually happened. But the promoting side of it, Craig Cormack and I used to have conversations, and he would just always tiptoe around how difficult it is to jump all these hurdles when you don't know the height of the hurdle.
Yeah,
he goes, that's the most interesting thing, is that you need to do it. And so you start down the path, and lo and behold, you think you got to jump a 5-foot hurdle and it's 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
Well, it's a specialty too, right? You're looking at track insurance, right? Or racing insurance. It's a specialty anyway. It's not like you just go out on the internet and there's 400 companies that do that, right? There's kind of a corner on the market.
Really small.
It's very small and they know what they're doing. You're new, you deal with all that. So yeah, it's super impressive. And I think, you know, one of the reasons we're here and having a motorsports show is to support the community because it is hard work. For any of this. And as you mentioned, right, the bottom line at the end of the year for many of these teams and tracks is very tricky because this is not a huge money-making scheme here when you get to this grassroots level. So very cool.
It is. This is the Finish Line on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Mike Melby, Rebecca Pearson there, Tyler Perry to my left. And I like to every week jump into victory lane because you're talking about all the local racers, all the national racers. Let's get you caught up on who won some money this last week. NASCAR Xfinity was dark. They will be in action at Sonoma next weekend. Truck Series. They were at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, which is where the Cup Series is now. Grant Enfinger picked up the victory there. They'll be at Nashville Super Speedway on the 23rd of June. High Limit Wednesday, we talked about it briefly. Kyle Larson created some controversy, then won the A feature. He's now won back-to-back, and has got like a 33-point lead in the High Limit Series. They will be at Eagle on Tuesday. It is, according to Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet, the most anticipated race on the schedule, regardless of payday.
I believe
because that track is so fun to see 410s on and for Kyle to drive on. And by the way, if you have not seen the highlight of Kyle Larson's win the last time a 410 race took place at Eagle Raceway, June 13th, 2017. Find it on YouTube. It's insane.
Well, we need to tell everybody to go out and watch and support the series, right? Support the track and support the series.
Exactly. All-Star Circuit of Champions ran Friday and Saturday. Friday at Dodge County in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Corey Eliason picked up his 10th career win, led all 25 laps. And then the Plymouth Dirt Track last night, Rico Abreu took home the Race Rudine Foundation race. And Race Rudine is a young man that lost a battle with substance abuse, and his father has carried on his name in a lifelong effort now to show people what substance abuse is, how difficult it is to get people out of it. But there are avenues and ways, and he's doing everything he can to try to make sure that other families don't go through what he did. He's a young man, or an older gentleman. I was going to say young man, but he's somebody that I would love to maybe see if we can't be a part of this show at some point. All-Stars, buckle up, because you now race 8 of the next 9 nights starting on the 9th of June. So between the 9th of June and the 17th of June, they will only take next Wednesday off, or the Wednesday after next, as they do Ohio Sprint Week. So the All-Star Circuit of Champions is going to roll off with 8 races in 9 days. World of Outlaws Sprints, River City Speedway up in Fargo. David Gravel brought home the checkered on Friday night. Then last night, Carson Macedo, Brad Sweet and David Gravel got into a little wreck early on, came back through the field, but with Macedo's 3rd win of the season last night, he now leads the points over Sweet by 10 and 22 over Gravel. That was at Ogilvie Raceway in Ogilvie, Minnesota. Knoxville next weekend for those guys. World of Outlaw late models. Thursday night at Farmer City, Bobby Pierce took home the win. Friday night at Tri-City Speedway, Kyle Bronson beat Brian Shirley by 0.057 seconds. And then on Saturday at Paducah International Raceway in Paducah, Kentucky, Brian Shirley returned the favor. Bronson ran 2nd. They are up next at State Line. Lucas Oil late models back on, 6-2. They went to West Virginia. And Ricky Thornton Jr. on Friday night took home the win. They were rained out last night. They'll be at the Smoky Mountain Speedway in Maryville, Tennessee, the 16th and 17th of June. Knoxville last night was a cool show. The USAC AMSOIL National Sprint Car Series was there. Jake Swanson with a pass on the last lap to take home the win. They ran it with the 410s, and it was a whale of a show. Brian Brown is a guy who you'll see at Eagle on Tuesday night. He took home the win there. And in local racing, Beatrice rained out on Friday. Last night at Eagle in the sprint cars, Jake Buback. Haven't seen Jake back out there on a regular basis in a while, but he took home the sprint win. In the modifieds, it was Jordan Grabowski. Matt Andrews won the sport mods stock car class last night, won by Dylan Richards out at Eagle, and Neil Pella took home the hobby stock. That's victory lane for you this week. I noticed a car that was not out there the last couple of weeks, actually. It was the 35 at Trevor Grossenbacher. I'm going to have you explain why in a minute, but I promised some breaking news, and it is a national story. Now, you know it because you're involved with it. But I'm going to give out this detail. And we'll cover all the details hopefully next week with the new owner of EMI, which is Eagle Chassis, which are sprint car chassis. It's one of the more popular chassis that all the sprint car guys run, a business that was run via the Speedway Motors corporate enterprises. Decided to shut it down back in March of this year. And there's been some contract negotiations going on, and Brian Cheney, old Cheney Chassis, he has purchased the right to have Cheney Chassis again and some equipment, etc. And Eagle Chassis is going to be back in business. It is a done deal. It will be based in Nebraska. That's what I can tell you right now. But so, guys like Sheldon Hodenshield and several all-star racers, other World of Outlaw guys that are going to be at the High Limit Series, they run Eagles. Guys are selling off their equipment. Don't sell off your equipment. Eagle Chassis is back in business. We'll let them make the formal announcement, but we do know everything is signed, sealed, and delivered. I think that's exciting because I've always been a big fan of Eagle Chassis.
Yep.
So let's talk about the 35 car. And Trevor Grossenbacher, who you're the crew chief for.
Yep.
You just talked a little bit about the promoting side of things. And I'll tell you what, I'm just checking the clock. I'm going to save that question for after the break.
Okay.
Welcome to live radio. It is the finish line here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be back with more after this.
Join us on Tuesday, June 6th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 40th and Old Cheney for Customer Appreciation Day. Enjoy 59-cent wings all day and your favorite sports talk show host on the air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang out with us for Customer Appreciation Day on Tuesday, June 6th at the 40th and Old Cheney Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Spring here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaw, gas, or Acres is your field products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test.
If you love to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's Damn.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Is the best value.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is to bring you your service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon wrap dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between, capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
So many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located 7th and Superior.
I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to go wow and say yes.
I absolutely love my ring. I get it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska at Sandhills Jobs.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Wood member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America. Touch lives, securing futures.
Back to the finish line with Mike Melby on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the finish line here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Mike Melby. Rebecca Pearson to my right, Tyler Perry to my left, Rico Alvarez Cleary behind the board. Thank you, Rico, for coming in. Greatly appreciated. Some of you know exactly who Tyler Perry is. He's not the director, but the Tyler Perry that lives in David City and is working at Speedway Motors and is in and around Trevor Grossenbacher's car quite a bit. So
Too much lately.
Too much. Talk to me a little bit about what happened with Trevor's car and basically what it's like to be a crew chief on a sprint car that has had a ton of success. Is there pressure with it? What's it like being you working for Trevor and working with Steve and his dad and everything?
With what happened with our car at Beatrice, we busted out a new car the week before, or new to us. We raced it at Eagle, started 12th and ran 3rd with it. Really good first night, felt good. And we went to Beatrice with it. Won the heat race from 4th, started 8th in the feature and got to 3rd right away and just kind of fell in line in the rubber. And then with 4 to go, somebody needed the real estate in the rubber more than we did, I guess, and sent us out of the ballpark. So as you tear stuff apart, you find stuff that's worse than it looked before. And it resulted in, the seat's got a dent, everything's the motor and the steering gears, all that'll be going back on it that was on it before. Wow. So we took that car had a brand new top wing, brand new. We stickered it 2 days before that. Probably best looking car we've had, and it lasted 30 minutes. So, no, the ups and downs of that are tough, but your first thing is make sure Trevor's okay, and then you go throw your fit or say your piece or both or however you want to handle it. Racing, the crew chief thing. Pressure, no. I enjoy that part of it. I don't get nervous. As long as I always joke with Trevor, I said, he asked me once, or asks often, you ever get nervous? And I said, no, it never hurts from where I watch. So there's some humor to it once in a while, but no, you do it for a long time. And I have for 20 years now. You remember something from 15 years ago, it was like this one night and we did this and it worked, or we did this and we got 15th, so no, that part that don't bother me. I guess my 8 to 5 really helps me and helps Trevor. on Saturdays. Like I'm up to speed with what everybody's doing all over because I sell it to a lot of them. So no, I love that part. Racing with Grossenbachers, I'm a member of their family. They're members of mine. I mean, that's how they are. They're great people, shirt off their back if you need it. So it's easy to work hard for people like that. And lately we've been working really hard just to get back out. So
Yeah. Good news. Hopefully he'll be back out next Saturday.
we'll be back out next Saturday
Okay, good to hear.
with something to prove.
Good to yeah. I would think you probably do have something to prove.
So when you go out, do you have a checklist, or how do you go through the mental thing and making sure the car's ready to go and you're ready to put it on the track? And
I'm
feel
a
good?
super habitual person in everything. Like I'm almost weirdly, most people would say, like I have the same energy drink one a day at breakfast. I eat the same things. Like we go to a new restaurant, I don't try anything different. My wife and I, we go on dates to Big Red Kino in Fremont and eat the same things. Our waitress knows what we drink, the size, the appetizer. So I'm that way anyways. So when it comes to racing, I have the same routine. We get there, take the gas shocks off, check gas pressure in them for nitrogen, put them back on. Like it's just kind of the same checklist. Yes.
Yeah.
Mine are all mental, and I take probably a little more extensive notes than somebody should.
Mhm.
Like I plug in a spreadsheet average lap times for us, and if we don't win, that compared to the leader. If we do win, that compared to second. So that's kind of dumb on a local level. You don't need to care that much. It's good to, or maybe it's a sickness. I don't know, but
It's a good sickness to have because that
Yeah.
sounds like something I would do. So I like it.
Oh, well, ditto.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're all in that same boat. Yeah, we want data and we just kind of want to look
yeah,
at it.
I
and-
can't
right,
have
mhm.
too much information. That's
Right.
how I am.
Yeah, same.
Well, now let me ask you this from the standpoint of 305s, because when I announced there, it was 360s.
Yep.
And Roger introduced the Race Saver class, and it's been very successful. The difference between the two cars is pretty substantial, because in a 360, you can throw money at problems and it fixes it to an extent. In a 305, there's only so much horsepower you're going to get out of that motor. And I'm going to make an educated guess with my uneducated knowledge of horsepower and sprint cars, but there's probably only 60 to 70 horsepower difference between
top and
bottom. I don't think it's much.
Fair.
So a ton of money is not going to do what it would with a 360. It's more about setup. It's more about driver technique, etc. You mentioned the nitrogen and the shocks. How important are shocks to the sprint cars with the 305s?
It's enormous. It's one of the only ways you can be different than everybody else. So, like you said, the motor window's small, and it gets smaller every year because the year before, the guys that you lap next year, they're fast. If they start on the front row, you might not catch them. So I always joke with people, there's a crowd of guys out at Eagle, and with their point invert, like your fastest guys start like 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th.
Yep.
In those rows. I've always told Trevor it's really a race to get to 5th. Because if it's Joey Danley and Tyler Jerky and Stu Snyder and Trevor and a couple other guys, whoever can get to 5th first and get to those guys that started on the front row has a lot better shot at it because you can get out by yourself. So in the 305 class, the shocks is huge. The motor window's really small. We all kind of run the same wings. The brakes, you can't run titanium brakes, so your window on different brakes is really small. So that's something I put more time in on our shock, I'll call it shock game, than anybody. We run pros from here at Speedway. I get Penske's from Pennsylvania, Penske's from North Carolina. Like I have kind of something different for everything different.
So one of the questions I have from a setup standpoint is, as the night goes on, you guys, not as it goes on, as you unload, you have a setup. Is it the same setup every night when you pull into Eagle? So you always have the same starting point?
Never change it.
Okay.
Haven't since 2010.
Okay. And with that stock setup, how far off of it do you have to go most nights? And what's the furthest you've had to go?
You can go a long ways. Some nights you even kind of look at yourself in the mirror thinking that you're dumb for starting there when you get there and there's dust flying already. You're like, well, I already know by the heat race, this is scrapped.
Mhm.
So, but I'm habitual. So we roll out. This is what we're doing. We go hot lap. It's terrible. Okay, we fix it. We've gone too far before. It kind of depends on how the night goes. You start, say you get last transfer in the B, night's not going well. This is the night you try something that, like, well, everybody says this don't work, and I know it won't work, but let's prove it to ourselves why it won't. A couple years ago, we tried one night, and Trevor said we start last. I'm not going to throw in the towel by any means, but he goes, you want to try something different? Tonight or night. So I tried, just stupid stuff. I didn't even write it down because I don't want to ever try it again. And I thought, and Trevor's a guy that if there's 19 cars running the bottom, we will rip the fence down, running the top. It's boring to him to run the bottom. We never set up to run the bottom. We did that night and went like 70 points deeper in gear to just try to putt around the bottom. And I think we ran like 10th or something, but at one point he tried to like float the middle. And I said, how'd that go when you tried to float the middle? And he started laughing. He said it shook so bad he thought it was going to come apart. So
now when you talk about the changes that you make, you have the stock setup with shocks. Do you change the rebound and the dampening?
Yep.
And how, explain that a little bit for people like me that know enough to not know a lot, but know the words.
Okay. Yep. No, as the night goes on, like usually when you start your night, 9 times out of 10, it's heavy. Your race car, I'll call it wing speed. So your race car has optimum grip. You don't need to make mechanical grip because the track's sticky at that point. So you start the shocks the same point every time. You don't need to tie down the left rear a ton because the wing will do that job. As the night goes on, the track slows down without saying what we do exactly, but you speed up the front to try to get weight back to the back faster because in the end, that's what you want is longitudinal traction or forward bite. So there's a lot of games you can play there. Some people make it simple. I don't. I probably almost overdo it. Like with gas shocks, changing gas pressure will speed up or slow down your compression or rebound, but it won't change the actual number. So if you took a bunch of gas out, it's still got the same measurement for how hard it pushes down or how hard it releases, but it's quicker or slower if you take gas out.
How many of those decisions you make for yourself versus have a discussion with Trevor?
We hardly ever talk about it.
Yeah. So you make the call, right?
Yep. He trusts anything I do. If he sees me doing something that looks non-normal to him, he'll ask. And most of the time I just say, you just do your job. You'll be fine.
Yep. There's a reason I'm the crew chief. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're the driver and I'm the crew chief. And there's a reason for that.
And that's where it never hurts from where I watch.
Right.
That's where that comes in.
Yep.
But no, I don't think I ever send him out there with anything that he's like, I have no idea how this is going to feel.
Right.
I think he generally feels good about it.
Well, you don't have a lot of chance to get feedback during the race,
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's not like some of the big
Yep.
series we talked
Yeah.
about, right? Where you get feedback, you got electronics, right? You're getting real-time feedback.
Yep.
So you just kind of send them out there and
Yep.
that's it. Yeah.
I make a lot of mine honestly in staging.
Mhm.
Like we'll push over to push down the hill and I can see more of what I want to see from there. So then it's quick shock adjustments, moving the top wing, stuff like that. Most people make up their minds way before that, but I like to see real time, like, oh, it's a lot different than what I thought.
It's the finish line here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I'm Mike Melby. Rebecca Pearson to my right, Tyler Perry to my left. Tyler's the crew chief for Trevor Grossenbacher's number 35 sprint car out at Eagle. He is also the promoter of the Stuart Alley Memorial Race, which will take place out at Eagle on September 10th. And you mentioned that you kind of grew up and really cut your teeth and everything with Billy and his dad Stuart and his career. He's an Eagle Raceway track champion. He was a 360 Nationals champion at Knoxville. He's a Knoxville, 410 champion. He's a guy that just bottom line knew how to drive a car and could just get it done. Part of the reason he could get it done is because of you and the support that his dad gave him. Talk a little bit about what they meant to you. And you mentioned that you just woke up and said, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
But talk about your relationship with the Alleys.
Man, it started back farther than racing even. We his football coach, I can't remember his first name, but it was Larson, and his son was one of my football coaches. in Aurora. I grew up in Aurora, and I wore a Billy Alley hoodie one day into two-a-days, and he pulled me in his office and said, well, how do you know Billy? And I explained it to him. That was right after Billy started. Started racing with them, I want to say like 2007 or 8. And then with the Delta Oil car in that era. With those two, their passion is only winning. Like, and I love that because I'm the worst loser, and anyone that is at a sprint car race knows that. I don't like leaving the house. I'd rather watch TV than go out to have fun when it comes to racing, because I joke with my wife too. When my daughter, she's a year and a half, and she'll get upset over losing something. And I said, well, you're either, I mean, if you're a good loser, you're just that. You're a loser. So no, those two, it's hard to even put into words what they've meant to me. Was at a weird place in my life and had Billy call one day and say, do you have enough money to get to my shop tomorrow morning? And I said, yeah. And he said, be there at 7:00. You work for me now. And I started working on his race car then. And as far as Stuart, every day we went somewhere out of town to race, he'd ask, like, have you been paid? When we got back late at night, do you need a place to stay? Like his motorhome would be at Billy's shop. I'd stayed there a lot. We raced in Knoxville. I stayed in Stuart's motorhome a lot. Like, it's just a person that, and Stuart was an interesting individual. He was somebody you would not walk up to and tell him what you meant to him, because you might get called all kinds of names, because he's not a touchy-feely emotional guy. He'd just tell you that you're weird. Like, oh, whatever, get away from me. But he knew, like, you knew if he gave you a hard time that he really liked you. So, and he definitely did. There was nights we'd race with Billy, and I would take the race car truck and trailer home to my dad's or my grandpa's and do maintenance. And then Billy and Stuart would come the next day. And a lot of those memories are pretty fun because they went back and forth with my dad and my grandpa pretty hard about it. And my dad and Stuart were a lot alike as far as they're both crazy, anal about clean stuff. And my dad wanted Stuart to fix some of his concrete, and he said, no, you're a psychopath. He goes, you have round corners on every wall in your house. He's like, I'm not doing your concrete. But no, that's just kind of the person he was. But he always, the last time I talked to him, and I'll get through it, but he said, like, he called me quiet man to start with. I guess I didn't talk a lot, and then he would tell me, he's like, well, I used to call you quiet man. He's like, now you never shut up. So it's, he told me last time I talked to him, he said, quiet man, you just make sure, he always asked me every night we raced, you just make sure there's fuel in it and the wheels are tight and keep taking care of everybody. And that was a lot. He must have known by that might have been the last time I talked to him. Yeah. And then I found out when he passed like as we were pushing off for the 305 Nationals feature. And the people that knew kept that from me intentionally, like to keep focus. To keep us. Yeah, exactly. That might be the right word. So I didn't know till the morning. And so that night we collided with Jake Buback coming out of 4 to win the Nationals. So we lose by that margin. And I just remember my wife said that Trevor's wife said that I just feel bad for Tyler, and I had put nothing to it. And then in the morning, that was when I found out that he had passed away the night before. And so since then, the crazy, I guess a better part of that story would be the week before. I wanted to run the 22 because Billy wasn't racing anymore. I wanted to run the 22 one time for Stuart because he was declining really quickly. But they hadn't told a lot of people publicly. And I was not going to be the reason that people are reaching out to their family. And it was literally a Friday at 2:00, last points race, that I saw Billy's sister, Bobby, had put something on Facebook about her dad not doing well. So I called Trevor. I didn't even ask the Alleys. I called Trevor. I said, hey, man, like our spare wing, would you run a 22? Let's do it one time for Stuart. I don't want to do it at the 305 Nationals. I want to do it tomorrow. And he kind of looked at me. He's like, how are you going to get that done? I'm like, well, don't worry about that. We'll get it done. Would you do it? And he said, absolutely. And they were good friends of Allie's too. So I literally called another friend of mine and I was like, I need this font, these numbers, and Allie. I'm running the 22 car tomorrow. So we stuck it on there the morning of the race, and I sent pictures of it to Billy and to Bobby and to Suzette to show Stuart. And so, and that I've never wanted to win a race more than that one. And I think we started 20th and ran 3rd or 4th. And I thought, well, I didn't win, but you know, like we didn't win the race, but it was like, I think that's something he'd have been proud of.
You put on a show.
Oh, that was it. Billy always had WFO on the race car, and that can mean different things. I can't say it on the radio. But
yeah, we had to hit the dump button a couple of weeks ago.
yeah.
So
Yeah, wide frickin' open there. That's what
There you go.
And so that I felt that. I thought, oh, Stuart would have been proud of that.
They're proud of that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, it sounds great. Well, you've got the next event here to kind of honor his legacy, which sounds like an amazing story for you.
Yeah, I want to get into some of the details on that and then touch on a couple other things that have been going on in racing. I want to do it on the backside of this break.
Yep.
And then also don't forget, Ricky C. Simmons is going to be in the house when we're done at 8 o'clock with the Get Your Happy On show. Des Moines Adams, I have heard rumors, is going to be in studio. So going to be fantastic. And we'll be back with the last segment of the Finish Line right after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Some trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Motor Food is Lincoln's hardest rocking food truck and cafe. Motor Food creates old school comfort food with a 21st century twist and lots of rock and roll attitude. Try the barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese, the grilled chicken Firebird sandwich, a 100% all beef split grilled hot dog, and any version of their funky fries. Stop by the cafe just behind Outback Steakhouse on 48th Street, or catch the food truck out and about all spring and summer. Check out their menu, order carry out, or schedule a catering at thefoodtruck.com.
Turning 20 this plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
General contractors, business owners, property owners. The success of your business requires doing business with the right people. And the right people are drywall, acoustical ceilings, and products are at Premier Drywall. Kevin and his crew will give your project the response and attention it deserves.
You'll get all of the attention to detail and quality that you would expect from someone business years. For build outs or renovations, reach out to Kevin at premierdw.com. Premier Drywall in Lincoln.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcome animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent, something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years, changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit, and you can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour. An opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs and areas of study. There are virtual tours of our learning centers too. We can even do a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our site, southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your
Back to the finish line with Mike Melby on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to the finish line, Mike Melby. Rebecca Pearson on my right, Tyler Perry on my left. Tyler is the crew chief for Trevor Grossenbacher. He is the promoter of the Stuart Alley Memorial Race. That'll take place September 10th at Eagle Raceway. And for those that don't know Stuart Alley, he owns a concrete company in town, town. And Stuart was the guy that was so instrumental, not only in his son Billy's success, but he was a guy that gave to other racers. He was a guy that was a fixture in the racing community, the sprint car community here in Lincoln. And he's a guy that needs to be honored.
Yeah.
And you told a great story about running the 22, right there before he passed, et cetera. Now, promoting is something cool and different, and you're learning all about it. So is Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet.
Yep.
And they are promoting a race that is at Eagle this Tuesday night. It is the High Limit Series. If you follow sprint car racing at all, you know what it's about, and you know how fantastic these races have been.
Mm-hmm.
Car counts outside of Tri-City last week have all been above 50.
Yep.
I would guess there's going to be close to 50 here on Tuesday.
I think so.
Because this is, from a racer standpoint, the most highly anticipated one of the 12 or 13 races that are going to run in the series this year. It's going to be crazy. The last time 410s ran at Eagle was a World of Outlaws show, June 13th, 2017. Kyle Larson won with the last lap pass of Shane Stewart, Darren Pittman. And because he got around Stewart, actually passed almost both of them in the same corner.
Yep.
But crazy race. I'm going to be out there. I promise you that. I know you're going to try to get out there. I'm guessing you may be there.
Absolutely.
Talk about how it is from the standpoint of being a guy. And we're talking about crowd size during the break.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the crowd is going to be, we expect, phenomenal. What is it like when the race is over and the pits are opened up and the fans going to come talk to you guys? What's that like for you? And what's it like from your perspective via Trevor for the drivers?
Like we talked about briefly here on the side, like fan appreciation night, they're parked on the highway. There's nowhere to sit in the stands. And if you happen to win that night, it's a late night. Like, it's, for me, when the race is over, I still have stuff to do. I got to change shocks, change tires, knock the wing down. There's a lot to do. So sometimes that gets hectic, but like we said too, that's why we do it. The only reason we go there is to put on a show. And with my race, that's why for the 360 class, there's no registration fee. It's it's the only one on the Malvern Bank 360 schedule, and it's the biggest race on their schedule, and it has no registration fee. I don't want my guys to pay to play.
Yeah.
The people are coming to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, like I said, one of the things with promoting is You have so many different hats that you have to wear. Are you going to be? I'm assuming Trevor's going to have a 360 in his car.
Yeah.
Are you going to play crew chief that night?
Yeah.
So you're gonna.
It's the biggest paying. Yeah, it's the biggest paying race we can go to.
You're paying it, but still,
right
at the end of the
yeah.
day,
There's nobody I'd rather write a check to.
Exactly. Have you? We just got a couple of minutes here, but have you learned anything from the mistakes we've seen from Kyle and Brad with the High Limit Series?
That was an interesting deal. Watching it live, I knew exactly what happened. And I've talked to a couple people about it. That doesn't happen in Nebraska. Most everywhere they give them like the 2 sticks.
Yep.
And it don't matter two, but it's just 2 sticks and they wave them side to side.
Yep.
Iowa, it is a thing where they put the green flag higher, they wave it. So there's different places where that is normal. For Rico and those guys, obviously it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I do remember hearing them say in hot laps, or Zeb Wise said after the first, I might have been, I don't remember what it was, but Zeb Wise said you could not see into turn 1. So when these guys see a flag waved, I get how you could totally mess that
think
up.
it's something else. Yeah. Now Kyle said when on his series when he was explaining what he did that they didn't have a drivers meeting. Is that normal to not have a drivers meeting so you can explain flags and whatever?
I would think you should always.
Well, I think they had a drivers meeting, but the flagman
probably
didn't
didn't
say
cover
that's
that.
what
They just
he did.
didn't say it in
I
the
bet they
drivers
will
meeting.
from now on.
Oh yeah. Well, but it's standard procedure in a drivers meeting to talk
Absolutely.
about flags or signals or whatever. So
You're
I
right.
that was just interesting to me. I was like, oh, you didn't cover that? Like it's basic to me. It's basic, you know. But it's easy to understand how they would
I think
misinterpret.
they'll learn from that. They had kind of a double no, in my opinion. Like you kind of let a guy that messed up have a spot back, and you let a guy that stopped on the racetrack without a safety issue have their spot back.
No.
So there's then those guys finish first and second.
Well,
in the
and they're
feature.
the owner of the series, and they win the purse. You know, like
But
to me,
I get it from those two's standpoint too. Like I get it why Kyle kind of said no. Like, look, this is what happened.
Sure.
But at the
But you
same time,
can't.
you can't do it that way.
You can't.
And
No.
they'll learn from that. That
And
won't happen
they know
again.
it. I mean, I give them props for coming out and just
owned it.
saying, "Hey, they owned it." That's what you do from a PR management
Yeah.
perspective: is just own it and
You're
move
right.
on. You know, so I give them props for that. But yeah, lots of lessons learned on that one.
Definitely. Tyler, thank you so much for coming in. Stuart Alley Memorial Race, Sunday, September 10th at Eagle Raceway. That's your promoting event. And Rebecca, thanks again for allowing me the opportunity to talk one of my passions for an hour. And Rico, thank you for coming in. Next week, the new owner of Eagle Chassis, hopefully, will be in studio with us. Going to do everything I can to get them here.
And we're working on some really good next
Yeah.
interviews, right? We got a little work to do, but
We do.
yeah,
But
we're
Tyler,
working on it.
we may have to have you come back in. You have
I'd
a
love
bit of
to.
a bit
This
of
has been a
knowledge.
blast.
Oh, that's great. Oh yeah, we'd love to have you again.
All
I've
righty.
loved every second of it.
Excellent.
Thank you guys both for coming in. Thanks, Rico. We'll be back here next Sunday night, 7. Ricky C. Simmons is up next. Get your happy on.
Babe, pack your bags.
Vegas?
We from the wedding camper, and we're gonna have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon wrap dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon wrap dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between, capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
Join us on Tuesday, June 6th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 40th and Old Cheney for Customer Appreciation Day. Enjoy 59-cent wings all day and your favorite sports talk show hosts on the air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang out with us for Customer Appreciation Day on Tuesday, June 6th at the 40th and Old Cheney Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring operators at $4.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour. Opportunities to make more on certification